Our step-by-step guide to a newly wallpapered children's bedroom. Have you just built a new home and are now faced with blank walls? Perhaps you've never wallpapered yourself? It's very easy. Just watch how we recreate any child's dream from a basic new built room for the 4-year-old Johanna and become an expert wallpaperer along the way. When purchasing wallpaper, be sure that the rolls all have identical item and batch numbers. All rolls to be used in one room or on one wall, as the case may be, should be from the same batch. You will find the item number on the left and next to it the batch number on the slip of paper inside the foil on the roll. Our wallpaper is from the first batch, denoted by the number 1. Before you begin wallpapering, please check that the rolls have identical patterns and color tones. You will find a short description and some important tips on wallpapering on the back of the label. For wallpapering you will need a rubber roller, a spirit level, a fine pencil, a seam roller, a pair of scissors or cutter, a swab, and a soft brush. Be very sure to turn off the electricity before wallpapering. Remove all sockets and switches from the walls you intend to paper. Please ensure that the surface is dry, clean, smooth, and a neutral color. The wall should also be viable and absorbent. Ideally, one should treat the surface with a wallpaper base, allowing 1 day for it to dry. To get into the swing of wallpapering, it's a good idea to begin with the easiest wall in the room. First, check whether the wallpaper has any color discrepancies. To ensure that everything runs straight and smoothly, we outline the width of our non-woven wallpaper on the wall. Then we draw a vertical line with the help of a spirit level and a fine pencil, along which we lay the first strip. This ensures that all of the subsequent strips are attached straight and evenly. Before we actually begin wallpapering, we mix the paste. Our plain light green paper is non-woven, which means that we require a special type of paste for this product. Please always read the instructions on the back of the package first. The paste we are using has to soak in cold water for 10 minutes before we can begin to paste the wall. While the paste is soaking, we pre-cut our wallpaper strips. First, we measure the height of the wall, adding 10 cm to the length of the paper strips we cut. Roll the cut wallpaper strips together, pattern side inwards. This makes the strips easier to handle, making wallpapering easier. Non-woven wallpapers are easier to attach using the so-called wall paste method. Paste the surface to which you wish to attach the first strip about 10 cm beyond the width of the actual strip. Spread the paste as evenly as possible to the entire surface. Now, place the first strip onto the pasted surface, leaving a slight overhang of paper on top. This allows you to correct any height differences which may arise. Place the wallpaper onto the pencil markings and press the strip to the wall. Smoothen the complete strip with a soft wallpaper roller in order to eliminate blisters. Cut off any overhanging pieces on the top and bottom of the strip with wallpapering scissors or a cutter. We use a wallpaper palette knife as a cutting edge to ensure a clean cut. Smoothen the wallpaper and ensure it is blister-free. Please dab off surplus paste with a moist sponge or cloth immediately. The subsequent strips are attached flush with the first strip, meaning that the edges of the strips meet directly. The seams should be pressed with a large roller or a conical rubber-covered seam roller. Please also dab off surplus paste off the seams carefully. Let your creativity run free. We now set a few colorful accents with a panel in the middle of our plain green paper. Doors are generally only papered approaching from one side. Scraps from the roll, which you have adjusted to correspond in the case of a pattern paper, can be used for the space above the door. We don't need to worry about this for our plain paper. Lay the paper on the ceiling with a slight overhang. Press the paper along the vertical outer edge of the door frame. Cut the surplus directly in line with the frame. Carefully dab away the surplus paste with a moist sponge. It is especially advisable to use some dispersion adhesive on corners and edges. This prevents the wallpaper from loosening here. Then lay the next full strip and cut it around the door opening, leaving a little extra. Now we'll paper around the window. Here a perpendicular strip is attached on one side, so that the overhang reaches the corner as far as the window frame. In order to do this, cut the paper to reach the top edge of the window so that the surplus can be folded into the niche. It is best to allow a few centimeters extra for this, in order to be able to make a clean cut on the edge later. Our window has an outer blind. Where the blind cord is attached, the wallpaper strip is cut so that the cord can be passed through the cut. This requires very precise work. After that, the wallpaper can be cut in a way that fits to a clean recess. Please note, only cut so much that the cut edges disappear under the cover of the blind cord. To attach the wallpaper smoothly under the blind cord, we unscrew the covering, including cord winder, at the bottom and hang it to the side. Smooth the wallpaper onto the wall evenly. The wallpaper is cut once more at the level of the windowsill, so that it now fits perfectly into the niche. Carefully cut out the space for the cord holder, so that you can replace it and screw it back into place. Now we come to the window niche. Here it is as simple as folding the surplus margin and pressing it to the wall. This is best achieved with a rubber roller. Then cut off the surplus cleanly with a cutter. How does one wallpaper around a radiator? First of all, it is important to know that one should not paper directly behind a radiator. If the radiator is in a niche, it makes sense to paint behind the area. In the case of a freestanding radiator, it is generally sufficient to paper a maximum of 10 to 20 centimeters behind it on all sides. We have used strategically cut wallpaper scraps for this. It is also important to wipe away any surplus paste carefully from the seams and the radiator. While the special paste for the wallpaper is softening, we cut our strips to the desired length. Our pattern repeats every 53 centimeters. In order to make the strategic cuts, roll out the first strip to the desired length. Prepare for cutting the subsequent strips by aligning the pattern with the first strip. Now cover the paper strips evenly from the middle outwards with paste using a swab. In order to prevent the edges of the strips from drying, we fold the top 2/3 and of the bottom 1/3 of the paper together and roll the strips up. While our pasted strips are softening, we begin with the next steps in preparing to wallpaper. We have already papered the side wall of the ceiling slope. We thinly apply plaster, which contains filler, to the intersecting edge of the folded paper in order to facilitate an even intersection and to ensure the paper sticks fast. Having adhered exactly to the soak time for the paper, we can now begin to paper. Again, we lay the paper gently on the ceiling with a slight overhang and paper as far as the mitre. Smooth the paper on the wall carefully with a soft brush or a rubber roller. In the case of a strongly embossed wallpaper, only use a soft brush in order to avoid depressing the embossing. Please note, do not use a seam roller on embossed wallpapers. Smooth the paper onto the wall and ensure it's free of blisters. Cut the surplus margin from the top and the bottom so that the wallpaper slightly overhangs the mitre. Wallpaper the entire upper portion to the mitre before you begin to work on the mitre itself. Now paper the mitre by laying the previously cut strip exactly corresponding with the pattern on the upper strip. The two strips may overlap at first. You can cut off the surplus later with a pair of scissors. That's how easy it is to fulfill your and your family's decorating dreams. So now, over to you! The Rush team wishes great pleasure in your beautiful home.